Hello, and welcome to this week's Top 25 Power Rankings, where I go over the top 25 teams in Lol Esports. Last week, it was via Notepad in a really scuffed form when I was out of town. Whiteboard is back. Some things of note. Minor region teams that appear on this, algorithm-based if you're new here. I use stats for minor region teams because it's impossible to watch everybody play. So I don't watch minor regions. I watch all the major region games, though. So major region teams are relatively in an order that I feel comfortable with. But minor region teams do get sprinkled in here if the stats from their games warrant them being in the top 25, which more often than not that is the case. I will say this week's top 25, I was just thinking inconsistent. Inconsistent is how I want to, wish I could title this top 25. Absolute underperform. I mean, there are so many teams. I had it written down and I've made like 3 or 4 adjustments. I have arrows all over my damn board that I'm looking at right now to keep track, to fill this out. And, if you're sticking through this where I'm just going over this, you're a real one. It's a damn disaster. And I think if people are actually watching all the games, they would see that, wow, there's a lot of inconsistencies here. So, things of note. To start this off, 4 regions are not represented. Minor regions. Top team in Japan are ranked 44th. That nation focused me. Brazil, Fluxo is 66th. Latin America, Rainbow 7 is 76th. And LCO, Team Bliss is 91st. Next week, I will be taking all the teams that are eliminated from the playoffs out of the power rankings completely. So we will see non-playoff teams pulled out and, the top 25 getting smaller and smaller until we are down to the only teams eligible for MSI that are going into MSI, and we can rank them accordingly. So those 4 minor regions not in here. The teams that are out, RNG, disappointing as hell. They are out. I don't know what else to say, really. They're falling off the wagon. It's crazy, really. And there are other teams that are falling off the wagon too. And I mean, what do we really do about that? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how to feel about it, right? RNG, on paper, that team is too good to not be doing well, right? Even Angel in place of Yahoo, that team should be doing a lot better. Also out, Mad Lions, disappointing everybody right now. I will say they're the first few teams out of the top 25, but they are sucking, right? So not doing that well. And then KDF also out, they're a non-playoff team. I mean, I guess I'm pulling them out early. If you follow the Discord, you'll see the algorithm rankings. KDF are considered actually like a tier 3 team or whatever, with the likes of G2, Vitality, FlyQuest, HLE Sandbox and teams like that. So KDF are actually a lot better than the record indicates. We saw at the end of the split them really turn it up, and I think that they have a good chance to make the playoffs in summer. I really do. I think that that's a very interesting team to look at. 25th, Team Flash. Team Flash are an anomaly from Vietnam. They are currently ranked in my algorithm as the top minor region team. They are not the top minor region team on this board because I understand PSG and GAM better than Flash. Flash, 3 and 4 on the split. You're like, how the hell is a minor region team in the top 25 with a losing record? They throw a ton of their games. Stats-wise, they are one of the top 25 teams in the world, which is just, it's wild. 1 and 1. They beat MGN Box or whatever this new team in Vietnam is. They may be the worst team in the world across all regions. And they lost to Team Wales. So they're 25th. I mean, some people are going to say they don't belong on here. And I guess you could say that if you've watched everything. This team statistically looks good. They just throw games. So that's the only reason they're on there. 24th, the 100 Thieves. Back in the top 25. Once again, not following the algorithm. They are considered to be a team that's shouldn't be in the top 25. But they went 5-0 this past week. Turning it up ever since Nuke Duck took over and Kaz is gone. Kaz reportedly and rumored to be going to Excel as their coach. But 100 Thieves did very well, 5-0. TSM, IMT, CLG, those 3 wins are important, right? IMT, they should beat. TSM, a team that they have separated themselves from. CLG, a team they've separated themselves from. And then they beat EG twice. That's a big deal because EG considered one of the upper tier teams in the LCS, more gatekeeper. And 100 Thieves are able to beat them twice. So they're 24th. 23rd is Koi, new to the top 25 as well, 3-3. The LEC is a complete disaster in my opinion right now. I don't know who's good and who's not. Because really, a team can play good one game, not play good the next game. People are going to say, well, players, this and that. It's like, well, how are they performing? Well, they're playing, they're doing this, they're choosing to do this and that. It's like, well, what is nobody in the LEC right now is playing well, in my opinion. Their team's playing over expectations and below expectations, but I don't know if I can say that, I have any confidence in any LEC team. Koi, 23rd, 3-3, went 2-1 this past week. Beat SK and G2, 2 teams in this range. Actually, G2, I think, were 8th last week. So the fact of the matter is, those are 2 good wins for Koi. That proves, hey, we are still a good team. Then they go and lose to Fnatic, who many would consider the worst team in the LEC. So for that to happen, you see both ends of the spectrum there. Koi, though, proving that they are good against the better teams. They did do well in the best of 5, the best of series, best of 3, best of 5 after 4 and 5 in winter. So I think that they're once again going to show in playoffs that they're better than their record indicates, and people are going to be upset and this and that because Koi are hanging around. 22nd, Sandbox dropping 7 spots. Sandbox looked like a disaster. They beat Bro. Good for you. Bro stink. HLE, though, they needed that win. HLE and Sandbox were definitely vying for that 5th spot in the LCK. Not only in the standings, but also, in our mind, right? Because Sandbox are really falling off as of late, and they lost that, right? So they're 22nd. They play KT tomorrow morning for me. And I really don't think that, I have a lot of faith in them. 21st, we have Astralis. It took a second because this is the first swap I did. So Astralis, 3-3, went 1-2 this past week. Beat Vitality. That's a big win. Lost to BDS. Okay, that's a team around you, so you're proving you might be worse than BDS right now. And then they lose to Mad Lions. It's like, oh, well, shit. Astralis, what's going on? You beat G2, you beat Vitality, but you're losing to Mad Lions and BDS. So they're 21st. Don't know what we're getting out of Astralis game in, game out. The bot lane looking good, but at times Astralis are gonna Astralis, pretty much. 20th, BDS up 3 spots. 4-2, went 2-1, beat Fnatic. Astralis lost to G2. So 2 wins. Fnatic, they need that win. That's a win that you should get. Koi losing to them, not good. BDS beating them proves, hey, we are still much better than this team. Beat Astralis, a team around them, proving they're better than Astralis right now. But losing to G2, a team that's kind of taking their foot off the gas. The split, that's not a great look. But the fact of the matter is, BDS are still kind of continuing that good play they had in winter. Late game, though, against G2, it kind of showed through once again that when they have to make decisions and they don't have a massive lead, they get outplayed. They get out macroed, out team fought in the mid to late game against really good teams or comparable teams. And, that's kind of the separation right now for BDS. And that's why they're 20th. And that's why you'll see SK higher than them still. Because SK proved, in my opinion, and we'll get to it, that they don't quite have that problem as much. 19th, not moving at all, are GAM. Gam from Vietnam, 7-0, went 1-0 this past week, beat Saigon Buffalo. Saigon Buffalo, in my opinion, to be one of the better minor region teams. This split, they're once again being pretty inconsistent, similar to they did in summer, but we've seen Saigon Buffalo do well internationally. Gam, we've seen do well internationally as well, right? A very, very good team out of Vietnam. And being 7-0, 1-0 this past week, algorithm-wise, they are definitely playing sloppy. I won't deny that. I said it in my minor region power rankings that come out on Thursday, my top 10 minor region teams. They win games in late game team fights, pretty much. They just out team fight their opponent when it really, really matters in the mid to late game. But in the early game, they're ending up in a hole. And in my opinion, they can't do that against teams from major regions if they want to actually win internationally, right? So they're 19th, and now we have some movement. 18th is PSG. PSG did not play, so keep that in mind. PCS split ended not a couple days ago, but the weekend before, and their playoffs start this upcoming weekend. So PSG did not play. PSG 15-3. One of their losses coming at the end of the split when they put in their backup jungler that they had replaced mid-split. PSG looking like the PSG of old right now in the PCS. We'll see how they fare in the playoffs. So PSG 18th. We have no more minor region teams after that, so that's done. 17th, HLE. So HLE drop 1. They went 1-1 this past week. Um, 1-1, 10-8 on the year. Beat Sandbox, important win, right? Separating themselves from Sandbox, that's significant, especially because they had Sandbox above them. I think 15th, HLE 16th last week. But lost to Gen G, I believe 2-0, which cannot happen. So HLE still not at the level of those top 4 teams, despite the player, the nameplates. Just making sure I'm recording. It would have been late in the game for me not to be recording, but I'm recording, so it's okay. 16th is FlyQuest. FlyQuest dropped 4 spots. So originally, I had FlyQuest below PSG and HLE, but I thought about it, and I was like, I think FlyQuest, they won games they should have won, and then they lost to C9 twice, which is not good. That's not a good look, right? C9 proving they're better than FlyQuest right now. FlyQuest losing to GG and TSM. Those are 2, decent teams. Golden Guardians, River and Gory have definitely been skill checking their opponents. That's without a doubt. So FlyQuest winning that's a good win. But still losing to C9 twice. It'd been better if they had split with them. C9 proving going into the playoffs that they are the best team in the LCS, and we'll get to them shortly. Next, we have dropping 5 spots, Top Esports. So this is a troubling thing for me. So inconsistency, right? We have more teams still inconsistent that I have to go over, but Top, what the hell's going on? Their coaching staff's been swapped. We went over it yesterday. Crescent's been a good coach for a long time. They went with the guy they've got backing him up in Chie, an assistant whose career as a head coach is not, nearly as good as Crescent's. But somebody's got to get an opportunity. Top are on a 5-game losing streak. That's not a good look. FlyQuest losing to C9. We don't know what they've been the last month, but it hasn't been good. HLE, a consistent coin flip. BDS, what are they really in the mid to late game? Astralis, we have no clue what the hell's going on with there. Their highs are extremely high, their lows are extremely low. Koi, don't know what's going on. Sandbox, we're pretty sure are falling off the face of the earth. Like, there are so many teams that, as we end spring, that are struggling. Like, they're limping into the playoffs. And they had built up such a lead, not only statistically, but in the standings and in our minds, that over other teams, that it was like, okay, well, these teams are better than those guys, right? And then now it's all washing out, and it's like, are they really better than them? Like Top 0-3 this past week, lost to Thunder Talk, BLG, and OMG. And some people might say, why aren't Thunder Talk in the top 25 over a team like Team Flash, 100 Thieves? Thunder Talk added iBoy today, and that just kind of pissed me off. So Thunder Talk don't end up in the top 25, once again, continuing to show they can't make good roster decisions. But they beat Top. BLG beat Top, and so did OMG. So Top were 10th, BLG, OMG, I believe, in this range, and OMG might have been 20th, still to go in the power rankings. So they're losing to teams that are like around them in the standings, and Top just falling off the face of the earth. It's not great. 14th, not moving at all. SK, I originally had them 12th on my board. I swapped them back to 14th because teams are disasters. SK 4-2 after a great 3-0 start, 1-2. Lost to Vitality, lost to Koi. Vitality loss, not a shocker. I had Vitality above SK. And frankly, hands-wise and player nameplate-wise, I think Vitality are better than SK. I think Photon's better than Irrelevant. Bo and Marcoon. Bo, when he's playing like he actually should be playing, better than Marcoon. But, Vitality, I still have to go over Vitality. SK beat Excel. That's a solid win, and the way they did mattered. So a lot of people say Excel, tire fire, and they are a disaster. But SK slow played them, like an LCK style, that I thought was a nice touch to what they can offer. They can punch you in the mouth with their bot lane, but also out macro you. Out decision isn't the word, but literally just big brain the game and beat you that way. And that was a very interesting thing to see out of a very young team and inexperienced team, and a team that I've identified since winter playoffs as a team that I could see going to Worlds if they can continue to improve. And they are showing that they're still that team. They're continuing to improve. So losing to Vitality and Koi is whatever. It's not great. You don't want to lose, but the way they beat XL kind of made me feel like, okay, this team is still a good team. So 14th for SK. 13th is Vitality over SK only because they beat them. That's pretty much the deal here. Vitality drop 5 spots anyways. After 3-0 start, Vitality go 1-2. They lost to G2. Okay. In my opinion, G2 aren't trying in this split. Lack of motivation. They've already locked the spot to MSI. They don't really give a fuck, right? Now, beating SK, that's a team that's a good team. That's a team that's playing for something. That's a good win. Losing to Astralis, that's ugly and unacceptable. Bo looking like garbage in that one. The team not looking good either. The bot lane not looking good. And the fact of the matter is, and I've seen it now from a couple people that former coaches. You look at Yamato. Yamato, had some criticisms of Vitality that I felt like included Bo. LS made a tweet about what is Bo doing? He's either really good or he's inting. And I feel like I've been saying this too. It's like coin flip. It really is. So for him, Vitality are in the same place they were, in my opinion, going into week 3, that they were in winter. Now, do they recover? Do they show up and not, crap the bed like they did in winter? We'll see. I'm sure a lot of hopium is going to be spewed, hoping and saying, yes, of course they will. But history, recent history, last split with 4 of these 5 players shows going into week 3, they couldn't figure it out. So we'll see if upset is the difference that allows them to figure it out so they don't, go into the playoffs limping like all these other teams that I keep referencing as struggling squads. 12th, OMG, 9-6, went 1-1 this past week. Up 2 spots. Beat Top Esports today. Big win. That win is losing value. However, over time, as top continue to lose, maybe these teams beating top isn't that impressive. Losing to EDG 2-1. You took a game off of EDG. That's significant. EDG up here, OMG proving we can play with these teams. So OMG fulfilling the 2022 hype we had for them a year later. I'm really impressed. I thought Shanji played very well today against Qingtian. I thought, honestly, if you missed the roundup, I thought OMG in game one beat them in every lane. Aki outplayed Tian big time. Tian looked awful. So OMG 12th place. I mean, they're looking good. 11th BLG up 6 spots. They only played one series, and it was against top. So like I said, that top win is losing value as top continue to lose. But BLG ending up about where they were to start, right? OMG were over here, but, excuse me, the top 25 when the split started had BLG in this range, right? Damn it, excuse me. And BLG returning to that form. So we'll see how they do ending it out. Lamau down in bot lane. I don't think he played against top. But, you know, I would like Lamau to play. I think he's better than On for sure. 10th, the last LCS team, C9 up 3 spots. But I thought C9 would be the team representing the LCS at MSI. So, as the one, or at least win spring. Them and EG, I thought had the best chances. So C9 up here, no surprise. 14-4, went 3-1 this past week. Beat FlyQuest twice. That's important. Beat IMT. You should win that. Lost to CLG, not great on Sunday, but going 3-1 and beating the big dog twice, or at least your top competition, is significant. So for them to be in 10th place, C9 doing what they have to do. Just 1 second. Yeah, so C9, like I said, doing what they have to do. Like, honestly, the team has, so many different looks. The Eminez look, the Diplex look in mid lane, you know, 2 very different styles of play. Fudge is able to carry in top lane. Blabber's doing what he has to do. And in bot lane, Berserker looking very good once again. So, 10th for C9. And then the top Western team, G2 in 9th place. Dropping 2 spots. As I said, they've taken their foot off the gas. They're going to MSI and they don't care. So the way I look at it, what they do going forward is not that big of a deal to me. They're probably not going to drop out of like the top half of this power rankings anytime soon. And then when we get to MSI, they'll move back up once I think that, okay, they're motivated, they care. Beat Vitality, beat BDS, 2 teams in the top 25. 2 solid wins. Lost to Koi. That's not great, so you drop a couple spots. But G2 are really, really good. So we'll see how they do towards the end of the split in the playoffs and at MSI. I guess we revisit them a month or 2 from now. 8th place, Weibo, up 3 spots. And I could see some people saying, well, why are you dropping G2? And it's like, well, in the end, the teams that are above G2 right now, I think just have better players. So it's a tough call. But I would say that I would take Weibo over G2. Weibo 10-5, 2-0, beat NIP, beat Team Wii. You could argue that they could have lost to Team Wii today, but they won, and that's all that matters. The Shy dealing a lot of damage today, but not looking dominant. So it's hard to really say, are Weibo at their best? Is the Shy just coin flip now, so they are at their best right now? I mean, I thought Karsa played well, Xiaohu played well. Bot lane, not as great as normal. Light, I thought, was okay, but not quite that presence that we've seen in the past. But nevertheless, they're 8th place. I think Weibo continuing to be in that range. 7th, dropping 4 spots, D+. These top 4, well, 2nd through 4th in the LCK is a complete it's a guessing game, really, in my opinion. I think some people, I mean, we can all say we think this team's going to win for this reason, that reason, but it's like, okay, well, we're putting our words behind it. We're putting down our reputations, whether it's me on screen or anonymously in comments or whatever. But it's like, do we really think, like, do we think as strongly about it as we claim to be, right? I really think it could be any three of the teams: D plus, Gen G, KT. D plus, though, this past week losing to T1. T1 are on a level of their own. If you look at the algorithm on my tier list on the extra content channel on the Discord, you see that I have T1 in a tier of their own. And stats wise, they're on a tier of their own. The gap between T1 and second is equivalent to second, the top team in tier 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and 4 to 5, and 5 to 6. That's the gap between 1 and 2. That's how massive the stat diff is. And T1 just look a lot better too. It's like not only stats, the eye test also confirms that. LPL teams not included in that due to limited LPL stats. But back to D+. I think D+ are a very good team. Losing to Gen G, not a great look. That's why they drop, and Gen G end up moving up. But, I mean, I think that D+ could still win playoffs. I mean, not win playoffs, but finish second. 6th, Gen G up 2 spots. Beat HLE, that's a win that they should get. Beat D+. Like I said, that was who is looking better going into playoffs. Gen G are looking better than D+. Could I see it reversed? Like I just said, yes. But Gen G did win. So on paper, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Gen G win that one. Gen G pays most kills, I believe, ever in a split for anybody, I think I saw. Could have been wrong. Maybe it was just for rookies. Maybe it was only for Gen G history. Even with Gen G history, that'd be still impressive. Very good rookie going into the year. I said I'm not going to compare him to Ruler. I don't think that's fair. A very young player, but the stats indicated last year that he was worthy of an LCK spot, and I'm happy to see him perform well. Similar to Exakick, 2 players that are rookies that have shown up in a big way and warranted these opportunities. 5th, EDG dropping 3 spots. Similarly to this 2nd, 3rd, 4th discourse for LCK, between EDG and LNG, it's really hard to pick a team. EDG beat LNG, but EDG 1-1 this past week, 12-3 on the split. Beat LMG 2-1. Good, you beat them, but you beat them 2-1. You didn't showcase dominance. And then you lost FPX. So that's very bad. FPX are one of the worst teams out of the 47 major region teams. I'd put FPX in the bottom 5. So, not great. Not a great look. So, EDG 5th. A team that we'll see what they do in playoffs, right? We'll see if Leave can show up. Leave has done very, very well. Another rookie that has performed. The jungle mid duo JJ and Fofo is definitely the question mark. 4th, LNG. Moving up 2 spots. Beat Anyone's Legend, a win they should get. Beat IG, a win they should get, but it is, was a team that was in this range. No slouch, you can't ignore them, and LNG took care of business. So LNG beat them. They play Ultra Prime today. LNG are about to finish up the split with a couple series that they should win handily, and if that's the case, that's just going to make stats look like LNG are really separating themselves from the others. JDG stats-wise, the limited LPL stats that I can't use for algorithm, separate themselves in a big way from the rest of the LPL teams. Going on a spiel. 3rd place, KT, up 1 spot. So, part of me wants to make them 2nd, but they're 13-5. They're not, KT have looked very good. Keen, in my opinion, quick thought, I could pick him for MVP. I could. theoretically, I think there's a case to be made. Maybe I'll do my MVP, my All Pro teams tomorrow. We did them on the Discord with the MVP voting from the split, but I might do my own stuff tomorrow for LCK and LCS. I know I didn't do it for LEC Winter, but that's beside the point, mate. That's a mistake on my part. I think Keen has looked fabulous for KT. I think Aiming and the Hens are turning it up when it matters. Beat KDF, beat DRX. Those are two teams you should smoke show. KDF, obviously, like I said, though, their stat-wise are pretty good, but record-wise have proven that they can't close out games, so KT winning that one's good. Beating DRX should happen, so... I mean, I think you could argue that they could be second or third, especially because JDG are second, and a lot of people... JDG are either loved or hated. And for them to move up 3 spots, I'm sure some people aren't going to like it. 12-3, 2-0 this past week. Beat Rare Atom, beat LGD. Those are 2 wins they should get, right? Rare Atom and LGD. Not super bad. Not as bad as FPX, but probably the one step above. So, like, those wins, much more impressive than EDG's lost FPX, which is why they get to leapfrog them. And then LNG going 2-0. JDG and LNG just move up. So, JDG, obviously, all-star team, right? We'll see how they do during playoffs. I could still see a case for JDG don't go to MSI. I thought Top were going to be the team that had the best chance, but it looks like Top are going to be lucky if they get out of the first round. First place, T1. I mean, I kind of spoiled it when I said T1's stats are literally incredible. 17-1, they end the LCK split. Went 2-0 this past week, beat D+. That was a tough win. That's a win that kind of separates yourself, right? Continues to separate themselves. Lost, didn't lose. Smoke showed Nongshim. So, T1 are first. Anything but winning Spring is, I wouldn't say disappointment, but I would say it is an underperformance. Going into the year, I said T1. It was their split to lose in the LCK. And they've proven to be the best team through the split. Regular season. We'll see how they do during the playoffs, and hopefully for their sake going to MSI. But playing all, glorified scrims throughout the last few weeks, could put you in a bad mindset, get you into bad habits, and hopefully T1 shake those. Unlike G2, who can get away with it because they're already going to MSI, T1 still need to win in the playoffs. So that's it for the top 25. Thank you for watching. If you're a minor region fan, the top 10 minor region power rankings will come out Thursday. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter or member, depending on what you want to do. And thank you for watching.